Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be raving about watercolor and doing some ambidextrous and mixed media painting, so please grab your art supplies and paint along with me. Alright, so I've been using this Mossery watercolor art kit by Plate to Paper for a few months now, and I think I can see myself starting to improve. Here are some of the paintings that I have done so far. I am about halfway through this workbook, and as you can see here, I think these Ramune paintings turned out quite well. Once I have finished all the painting in this book, I'll do a flip through for you and a more in-depth review of this art kit. Now let's get started with the painting. I'll be painting this page today that has some simple desserts on it, some dango, taiyaki, and other desserts as well. I'm going to be starting with the strawberry daifuku, and I'm just taking some green and putting it on the paper and then doing the bloom technique by adding a little bit of darker green to some of the areas. I really like how this looks once it's dry and is definitely a technique that you should try out for watercolor. I'm just going to be going through this page using the same technique with different colors. For the dango, I'm wetting the paper first and then adding color on top because I want a more transparent consistency for the paint. And I'm just going to be using that with a pink color, mixing a gray for the white part of the dango to create some shadows, and finally the same thing with a green color as well. As I'm painting, you might have noticed that I'm using both hands in this video, sometimes alternating, sometimes using both hands at the same time, and that's because I'm ambidextrous. I have made a few videos about this on my channel, but the basic gist of it is that I was supposed to be left-handed, but when I was in school, they made me write with my right hand. I grew up in Asia until I was almost 10 years old. We left the week before my 10th birthday, and in the country I grew up in, they told me that it would be easier to write Chinese characters with my right hand instead of my left. Now, I don't think that's true. I actually find it easier to write the characters with my left hand, but this was back in the early 90s when teachers still made students write with their right hand in school instead of their left. At least they did at my school. I don't think they do this anymore. At least I hope they don't do that anymore, but hopefully they just let the kids decide for themselves which hand to write with these days. Anyway, enough about that. Once I have painted everything on this page, I'm just going to wait for it to dry before I go in with some colored pencils to add a bit more definition. I know it looks a little bit of a mess right now, but trust me, it will look better soon. Alright, I am back, and now that all the watercolor is dry, and I'm going to go in with some colored pencils to add some definition. This is not part of the kit or anything, I just like to add my own little unique touches to the workbook. I got these pencils from jetpens.com, and I'm just going to add in some color and define things a little bit more. Let me know what you think of this video now that we are nearing the end of it. I hope that you found it helpful. I think some of the paintings turned out well. The daifuku could use a little more work, so I'm just going to fix that later. But I think the dango, taiyaki, and little rock candies look nice. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this art kit from Mossery and Plate to Paper. You can practice before you start painting. It's all included in the kit, and there are also some really helpful hints in the booklet for you to read and try out for yourself. I like how it teaches you the basics, and I myself like to add my own way of doing things, like maybe making some paintings a little bit darker in color and using mixed media like I did in this video. Sometimes I also use a ballpoint pen for a little bit more definition. Anyway, that is it for today's video. Let me know if you try out this art kit and if you like it. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I will see you next time. Bye!